Clive Barker Podcast Audio Commentaries.
Thanks to your generous donations to our Kickstarter funding campaign, Clive Barker Podcast presents Fundraiser III.
Hell on Earth.
Thanks for joining us for this very special episode and the last of our audio commentaries supporting our Kickstarter campaign. Clive Barker presents Fundraiser III, Hell on Earth. This was the very last one of those stretch goals, Midnight Meat Train. But before we get started on that, I did want to talk a little bit about Don Bertram's Celebrate Imagination. It's a shop dedicated to benefiting the Arts and Medicine program at Texas Children's Cancer Center. So up to 50% of the proceeds support that program, where the artist, Don Bertram, volunteers monthly. Please join us in donating to the program at Texas Children's Cancer Center. I love his artwork, and this year I've bought my work Christmas cards from Celebrate Imagination, 250 of them. Don Bertram was kind enough to send me art books and some Clive Barker autographed prints as well. Really kind person and a super worthy cause. We thank Don Bertram for sponsoring the Clive Barker podcast, and any friend of Clive Barker's is a friend of ours. There's a link in the show notes and on the main site at clivebarkercast.com that will tell you where you need to go to get one of his art prints and help out this wonderful program. All right, so enough preamble. Here we go to the Midnight Meat Train audio commentary.
Yeah, today we have a really cool movie, an adaptation from Clive Barker's story, The Midnight Meat Train, from 2008. So this was directed by, how do you pronounce this name,
Ryuhei Kitamura.
Okay, there you go. I was going to say Ryuhei Kitamura. And he's done a Godzilla movie. He's done Final Wars.
Yeah, which is which I thought was really good, but most Godzilla fans hate it.
Really? I thought it was really good.
Too much like Matrix-y kind of stuff in it.
I thought it was fun.
It was the 50th really anniversary thing.
And it kind of ignored the convention that, previously, all the whole Millennium series was like, you have the original Godzilla movie, and then whatever movie that comes next is the sequel to that. And in that movie, they reference like every, 60s movie. There were scenes from, going back all the way through all the Godzilla movies as like flashbacks and stuff.
Is this the one that has aliens that do karate and stuff?
Yeah. Or they're from. I think they're from the future.
Right. Okay.
I'm trying to remember. I just watched it not too long.
And there's Monster X.
Yeah. Right. And Gigon was one of the big bosses. They like rebuilt Gigon.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, Ryuhei Kitamura. I think the first movie I ever saw of this guy was a 2002 movie called Alive. It's about a guy that survives his own execution, and then he's going to be subjected to some bizarre experiments by the prison officials. So he's in this crazy-looking prison cell. It's a weird film. I would suggest you look at it if you haven't. It's called Alive from 2002.
I've seen Versus, but I haven't seen that one.
I was going to say I've seen Versus too.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
The zombie he did. It was really good.
So this movie got a bad rap. It's actually a decent film, and it's got a good cast.
It was just a lot of internal politics inside of Lionsgate that kind of ruined it.
Yeah, I remember shortly before this movie was premiering or being dumped in like dollar theaters, and that Clive Barker did some sort of like. This used to be on Google Video. I'm not sure if it's on YouTube anymore, but it used to be on Google Video. Someone had recorded a video of Clive Barker talking with Ryuhei Kitamura at some event where he was saying, please send boxes with dead stuff to Lionsgate.
Yeah.
Send them dead things in the mail. And I was like, oh my God, Clive.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
He was really pissed.
Oh, he was so mad, yeah. Well, and if you look at on IMDb the box office, they say the budget for this movie was $15 million, and the gross theatrical was $73,500. It's like, well, yeah, because they pulled all the theatrical release, so it couldn't really make money.
Yeah.
Not
really
until
bad
video
chance.
and streaming and stuff.
Yeah, I was looking at an article from the New York Sun back from August 2008 where it was called Midnight Meat Train, Lionsgate nearly butchers its own horror film. And I think I'm going to add that to the show notes because I think it will give a good image of what happened here with this film. Yeah. It got released on 100 screens before going to video in October of 2008. So
yeah, I was wanting to go see it. You know, I looked the closest place to go see it when they released it, and 100 screens was like Kentucky. So I'm like, well, that's not.
There was nowhere within 3,000 miles of me to watch Midnight Meat Train. So when I went to the signing for the Blu-ray with Clive Barker, I hadn't even seen it.
yeah, I think some of the problems with this film were also a little bit the adaptation. The stuff they added to the story, the original short story, was a little clunky in parts. But we'll get to that as we talk about the movie.
Yeah. I guess we should probably start the countdown. Rob, do you want to do it?
Yeah, I'm on the menu of the Blu-ray.
Me too. Yeah. So presumably everybody that's watching along with us, if you've already made it through all of the previews on the Blu-ray or DVD.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of previews.
8 minutes of them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous.
Yeah.
And we're
Lionsgate should be giving you
watching the director's cut, right?
For free if they have that much advertising.
Right.
All right, I'll do it. 3, 2, 1, play.
Here we go.
There we go. I'm looking at the Lionsgate logo. I like this logo. It's pretty cool.
Are you on the Blu-ray, Jose? I've got like Dolby DTSH.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting right now.
Oh, okay. Let me know when you guys are on the Lionsgate logo.
Now it's starting with the gears and stuff.
Yeah, here we are, yeah. You're right, I like the logo. Do they still use it? I don't know if they...
I think so.
Yeah. Lionsgate first started off, the logo was just a lion. Oh, there it still is when it opens the doors.
Okay, now it's Lakeshore, I think. Yeah.
A little boy jumping into the water from a wooden pier. It's a memory a lot of us might have.
Yeah.
The opening is, again, typical of a Clive Barker story, where it opens up with like the brutal shock to the system. So it gets people into the tone of the movie.
I love the way that this is directed here. That it focuses in on this guy's face because he's asleep. So and then it pulls back to to sort of show his awareness of his surroundings coming back as he's waking up. I thought it was kind of neat.
That's great, yeah.
And also this scene, you don't realize in the first viewing or two that this is not that the killer in this scene is not oh gosh, what's his name?
Mahogany,
right? Yeah, the killer is actually someone else from the that you learn about from the ending of the movie.
Oh.
I'm like, he didn't see the blood on the floor. I guess it's because this looks like the most uncomfortable looking cart ever.
Yeah.
It's all like metal and chrome and stuff.
Yeah, totally looks like a butcher's
I fell asleep in the freezer car again.
Like where you would keep meat. You're right.
Yeah. Looks like a freezer.
Yeah. But I think, if you were on this train, you wouldn't go like, oh, this is horrible, I'm getting off. It'd be like, well, this is a weird car. There's no advertising.
I think one of the things to take out of this opening scene is that Mahogany is such an efficient killer that he managed to kill someone in that cart while that guy was sleeping without waking him up.
Yeah, but it wasn't Mahogany, though.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a twist for the ending.
Yeah. Which, and in the
So the whole movie is a flashback now.
Yeah. Yeah, and in the audio commentary for this, Kitamura is saying, like, well, there's blood everywhere because, this was his first time, and he wasn't as efficient or as good at it.
Yeah, he's really messy.
There was a quick controversy with the title when it came out. It was called The Midnight Meat Train, and people were making jokes about, the sexual connotations of train. I remember that being a thing.
Oh, wow.
I
hadn't heard that. I love how the background behind him was all sped up and then it slows way down so that, so that he can focus his camera.
Yeah, it's Bradley Cooper, Oscar-winning actor in a Clive Barker film.
Yeah, and he wasn't a big phenomena at the time of this movie.
Yeah, I think The Hangover was kind of like a breakthrough movie for him, in a way.
Yeah.
In this one, he's kind of an ambulance chaser photographer, I guess.
Yeah.
Like Jake Gyllenhaal in Nightcrawler. Except not as seedy.
So that movie is not about the X-Man Nightcrawler?
No.
Okay.
It's about a guy who chases, uses the police radio to chase things and take pictures and then sell them to tabloids.
And then he teleports? Bamf!
No. No. That's one of my favorite X-Men, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
And here's Maya, played by Leslie Bibb. She's really cute. I think she's a great actress.
Yeah. She has she's a really believable part in this movie. I mean, she does the best that she can in the situation she finds herself in.
Yeah. It's like, do you find me fascinating? What? Obviously, he's not even listening.
Yeah.
Now, in the story, he's not a photographer, but I think by making him a photographer for the movie, I thought it was a good way to get the character into the underbelly of the city.
I think that if you adapted the short story straight, it would be like half an hour long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think they
It'd
had
be like a Tales from the Crypt kind of thing.
Yeah, they had to make the character more have more backstory and more reason for getting slowly involved in this situation instead of just falling asleep on the train.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think it's funny that he says, "Well, I'd marry you," and then she says, "What else do you want?" He's like, "You in a bed." That comes with a marriage pack, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least it should. Jurgis. He's also been an actor who's been in a lot of secondary roles.
Yeah.
The guy who plays Jurgis.
I feel bad for what happens to him. We'll get to it later, but yeah.
He was in Hostel 2, that actor.
Was he really?
Oh, okay.
He's the one that he has a horrible death at the end.
Are you saying Hostel also, or are you saying Hostel number 2?
Their sequel.
Okay.
2, yeah.
I've never seen a Hostel movie. I won't watch them.
That's a Eli Roth thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
I like,
not missing much, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I like how he does violence, how he uses violence in his movies. I think he uses it very effectively. But, yeah, it's not really my bag.
Yeah.
Oh, here are Clive Barker paintings.
Yeah, that's awesome.
They even put that in the script. I thought that was pretty cool.
And in the end credits, they name the painter. It says gallery paintings by Rocco Pavarelli as played by Clive Barker.
Yeah, that's the name of Clive Barker's grandfather, I think.
But
that was the name
But that's a strange credit, as played by Clive Barker. It makes it sound like he had a bit part.
He's in the movie, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
And I bet he was, and they just didn't put it in at the end.
He might have been, for all we know. Sure. And it was Brooke Shields.
Yeah. Love Brooke Shields.
Really, really good casting. She's got a small part, but it's done well, I think.
Plays the kind of bitchy art
Art gallery owner.
art owner.
Well, first time I saw her was when she was 12. She started as a child prostitute in this movie. What was the name of that movie? Pretty Baby, 1978.
Oh, wow.
And in that movie, she also was playing like this 12-year-old who was trying to seduce a photographer that visited that New Orleans brothel.
Oh.
So it's funny that there's a photographer in this movie too, I guess.
Huh. Wow.
Of course, she suffered from serious postpartum disorder after having her kid. And I guess she coped with it by becoming a Scientologist, which she is to this day, I think.
Oh, I had no idea.
Now she does lazy boy commercials.
She became a part. She became a part.
Have you guys seen the Lazy Boy commercials with Brooke Shields?
No.
No, I'm not. No.
Yeah. I like that triptych in the back.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Really cool.
She's like the Simon Cowell of art galleries. She only saw one of his pictures, and then she's like, "All right, you were at the wrong time."
Well, I think she sort of paged through the others and didn't care about him, and that was the only one she wanted to talk about.
I like that she brings up Basquiat. When Basquiat died in 1988, I mean, she was like 23 back then. I don't think she was a gallery owner at the time, but you know.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to get a dream sequence here, which is kind of cool, but I don't like it. It'll appear in the movie later when Boone does it in Nightbreed, because, you know, in that Nightbreed, there's a prophecy. Here, it just seems like foreshadowing.
Yeah, it's really. I had made a note about this too. That I don't know that I realized before that he's sort of he's having these prophetic dreams when he's not even close to really being involved in any of this stuff yet.
Yeah, that should have been cut. That could have been cut out. Don't think it was really.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, it is almost a prophecy then, because he hasn't been marked.
Yeah.
He hasn't even been on the train yet.
That's right.
Or move that around somewhere else. In the movie.
After he sees the butcher, probably would be a good time.
Well, I kind of wonder. It makes me wonder why.
Even though this is supposed to take place in New York, most of the filming locations were Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Hey, is that the Puzzle Guardian from Hellraiser?
It looks like it. It looks like the
with a hat on.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that this is in present day? It's kind of hard. I mean, there are payphones, and his camera is analog.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it
I would
probably
say it looks
is
like present day.
I think it probably is present day, but it seems like it was filmed in a way to be sort of vague about it.
Yeah, some of these metro stations, they're from the Los Angeles Metro.
Oh.
Some of the filming locations were a metro station at 7th and Flower Streets in downtown Los Angeles. And another station they used was in Vermont Avenue and Santa Monica Boulevard in Los Angeles. So if this is meant to be New York, these are not New York subway stations.
Right.
Not that it matters for anyone who hasn't been to New York, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been in Washington, D.C. subway stations, but I've not been in New York.
I've been to the Atlanta subway stations, the underground Atlanta.
So, were these guys going to write in public in here they were going to rape this woman?
Yeah, it looked
like they were just going to
right on this public stairwell right there.
Yeah, it seems pretty weird that they wouldn't even go to a secluded place or something.
Yeah.
It's just setting up this shot, which is totally unrealistic. It's like there's and pictures of them. They'd be like, "Hey, what you doing, man?" You know, they'd just go up to him and like stab him or push him or beat him up.
Take that camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Why didn't they take his camera away?
I guess they thought since he pointed
yeah, exactly.
He points to the surveillance camera, and I guess it kind of, they don't want to be on camera like stabbing him or something.
Yeah, the guy could walk around behind the camera and do it.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I think it's clunky that they added to the original story.
Yeah.
Although the movie is good. I like the feel of the movie. The directing of the movie is really good.
Yeah.
It's just what they added. Sometimes it's a little clunky, which we'll get into.
Yeah. Well, these pictures are what get him.
You know, there was a Fangoria auction online. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say these shots are what get him into the Brooke Shields' gallery.
Yeah, smooch.
Susan Hoff.
There was a Fangoria auction, maybe a year or so, maybe a couple of years after this. I don't remember. But there was a Fangoria auction online, and they streamed it, and you could watch the auction and bid on it. And I remember when we were in the Fifth Dominion Clive Barker fans forum,
Yeah.
there was a guy there called Darth Eckert. That was his nickname. I was talking to him while we were watching the Fangoria auction online, and he ended up buying a few props.
I think he got Mahogany's bag, right?
Yeah, and like a few prop knives and maybe a hammer.
Yeah.
They're all made of rubber, by the way.
Yeah, I know, yeah. I heard that in the commentary.
There was also the Mountain of Skulls that we'll see at the end. Someone bought that, but they said, well, you know, you have to pay for the prop, and then shipping and handling is up to you.
Yeah.
Because it was pretty heavy.
This is when I first saw this.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Walk up, so you know she's gonna get it, but then it's like, you know, how she gets it in the.
Yeah.
It's so blunt and right in your face.
Yeah, you expect them to cut away. I mean, that would be a normal horror movie thing to do, but it doesn't.
I appreciate the fact that Mahogany is very efficient when he does it. It's like he doesn't really prolong it any more than necessary. He just does it instantaneously.
Yeah, he's not interested in torturing people or
right.
Or dragging it out.
Butchering.
Yeah, and but at the same time, he also, you know, if somebody is begging for mercy, he doesn't really care either.
Exactly.
I think it's interesting how both of these guys are artists in a way. You know, Mahogany is kind of his own artist.
Yeah.
Butchering people, takes great pride in it, just like how Leon takes pride in his pictures.
And there's also sort of this running Clive Barker theme that the character that gets curious about something sort of dark, and they spiral into this where their life gets out of control and gets changed forever.
Like in Candyman.
Yeah, Candyman, yeah. Hellraiser.
Yeah.
Even Nightbreed.
I think it's interesting that they added this level to the Bradley Cooper character, that he doesn't eat meat.
Right.
Yeah.
But yet he's going to be confronted with, you know, a butcher. So.
Yeah, and the more he gets into this following Leon and stuff, the more he'll start eating steak, and then he wants it cooked really rare.
And this guy, Roger Bart, he was also... Roger Bart is Jurgis. I'm talking about the guy who's the diner dude. I forgot his name. But he was in House MD. He played a doctor there.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys used to watch House MD, but...
I think I've seen the occasional episode of it, but I don't...
Okay. It's Peter Jacobson. He plays Otto in this. But in House MD, he used to play a doctor.
Is he cooking them tofu? Is tofu any good?
Yeah, he just left with the guy cooking his tofu.
Yeah, tofu.
Yeah.
They do that in movies all the time. They never finish their food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people don't shut their car doors.
This segment is annoying to me, not because I don't think it's good. It's because, of course, the police would immediately think that he was the last guy to see her, so he would be a suspect.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like...
Yeah, it's only that way because
he's just trying to do the right thing.
This character, her whole purpose is whenever somebody comes to her with a problem that has to do with these disappearances, is to turn it around on them and say, "Well, what were you doing?"
Yeah, well, there's a reason for that.
Yeah,
there is a reason for that.
You're suspicious, and I'm noticing now that her collar's buttoned up so that, or her shirt is done in a way that you can't see her necklace.
Yeah.
Right.
But when Maya goes to see her, you can see it really plainly.
Mm-hmm. We'll get to that because there's a connection with mahogany.
Right, exactly. I think it's kind of too bad. They should have shown the necklace. It would have been a nice little thing for repeat viewings, you know.
Mm-hmm. And he just realized, he's like, oh, okay, you're turning this into me. So,
I think it's time to go.
Yep. Don't say anything. Just leave.
Yeah.
She reminds me of the character from Suicide Squad, the one that puts the Suicide Squad together. I wonder if that's the actor.
Oh, okay. It's not the same.
It's not the same, okay.
No. So finally, he gets a picture that she's impressed with.
You almost got yourself killed. You're hired.
That's how you have to get them
I know.
to be a client.
Whoa. That's like Keanu Reeves in Matrix.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a good shot. It is a good shot. If it was real, I would be like, wow, that's a pretty cool shot.
Yeah.
Like the one that people take in, like, war zones and stuff. You know, like the Time Photo of the Year and the World Press Photo Awards always have great photos. This coffee shop was also, I think, a coffee shop in LA. And quality coffee shop, 1238 West 7th Street, Los Angeles, California.
Oh. So LA
like
people can go visit.
Like that. Little diners like that are pretty cool.
Yeah.
I guess Maya's boss lets her use it after hours to have a party. That's a cool boss.
Yeah, very cool boss.
It's like, come on, man. You're just having fun with your friends. You don't have to go out and run just because, you know.
She's probably supposed to be closing up, and maybe he doesn't even know about it.
Yeah, that could be it. I love these shots of the city.
I do too.
A good transition there.
Yeah.
Every time I look at a tunnel like this, I think a lot about Half-Life, because I played a lot of Half-Life.
Oh. I played through the first game, but the second game I got stuck and just gave up on it.
And there's Sam Raimi's brother.
Yeah. Yeah, who we just discovered was in Candyman.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Or just didn't realize it before.
And that's Stephanie Mace. She was on Crank, the movie.
Oh, I think this is the most difficult scene in the whole movie for me to watch.
Now, this scene was... I've never seen an R-rated cut for this, but somebody told me that this scene gets edited down some. So.
I think it's just one eyeball instead of two. I think everything else is pretty much the same, but I've never seen it either. Yeah.
I think it's just boom! There we go. 1, 2. Looks a little cartoonish, I think.
Yeah.
At some parts, but
and then
wow.
The CGI blood, and Rob, you and I were talking about this before we started recording, but they ran out of fake blood for the filming of this movie, and they had to add in CGI later to make up for it. They went all over town.
I had no idea.
And they couldn't get...
I love the way they use the blood spatter, though.
Oh, the God. Oh.
Oh, right in the... Yeah,
and she slips on an eyeball.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Jesus Christ. That's like what we get from promotional shots. It's Stephanie Mace trying to crawl away from him.
Yeah. Oh, this is
Bang.
horrible. Oh, and his face just caves right in.
The CGI is very good in this movie.
Yeah. It's just little moments that enhance.
Oh, and all this clawing her fingernails on the floor. It's just, it's so uncomfortable.
Yeah,
you know,
she's probably getting something ripped off.
Yeah.
When I see Vinnie Jones, like, hitting a guy in the nuts with a hook, all I can think about is when he was a player. He did that to another player called Paul Gascoigne. He actually grabbed them on the field. He grabbed his nuts and twisted them.
Yeah, he was.
That was Vinnie Jones.
Yeah, kicked out of out of soccer for doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this scene is that old I don't know if it's a wives' tale or if it may be real. How would anyone know that your consciousness stays in your head after you get decapitated for like 30 seconds?
Probably for like a couple of seconds, no more than that, I guess.
Yeah.
Because obviously you instantly suffocate. Your brain suffocates out of lack of blood.
Yeah.
But heck, I'll be darned if that wasn't an amazing shot. I mean,
yeah, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, it's pretty brutal filmmaking to put you in the position of that victim.
Yeah. Vinnie Jones is, of course, mahogany, but I never envisioned him to look like that when I was reading the story. I saw him as a lot bulkier, fat, shaved head, dumb as rocks.
He was kind of a stereotypical butcher.
Yeah, less personable and less stylish, and more like just a big, dumb killer, Well,
you have to wonder, how does he keep from getting blood all over his suit all the time?
That's a good point. I had it on my notes.
Yeah.
He's efficient.
Everybody around him gets blood all over them, but he's totally clean.
Not even a spot.
Yeah. I mean,
maybe he keeps it.
His suit makes him look like
change of clothes in his
an
suitcase.
agent from the Matrix or something.
It seems like it would have been easy to have him putting on like a plastic whatever
tarp
thing. Yeah. He could have been doing that in the train car before he comes up to them. Nobody would even pay him any attention.
Vinnie Jones just has such an amazing presence, even when he's not doing anything. He's just standing there.
Yeah.
Holy crap! It's really.
I felt that kind of freaked me out when he came around the corner because you're not expecting him to be there, and he's just there.
Do you think that? I cannot remember if you ever see him having a tongue. Do you think that he doesn't speak because he doesn't have a tongue?
That's a good point. Yeah, I think you might be onto something there, Ryan.
When he says welcome at the end, we have to look. Let's look and see if he has one or not.
I think he's just meant to be the strong, silent type.
Yeah, that could be. Well, that definitely is, but I don't know if it's because of that or just because that's how he is.
So we just saw a good shot of his ring hand, and I have to point out that the 8-pointed star appears in a lot of spiritual tradition from many different cultures across the globe. It is in Islamic culture, it's called the seal of the prophets. So there's a lot of significance. I mean, Michael Jackson used to wear like an 8-pointed star pin on his jacket all the time. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, there's some conspiracy theorists about that. It represents his son and all this stuff. And, if you want to chase that down the rabbit hole, you just go on Google and start looking at the symbolism of an 8-pointed star.
Wow.
But going back to how the visual look of Mahogany, I agree with you, Jose. When I read it, when I read it, and when I still read the short story, I still picture a bulky kind of, rotund kind of killer.
Yeah.
Like somebody that looks like, I always picture the guy from Indiana Jones, who's the guy, from Egypt.
Yeah.
Goes to see. I picture that guy for some reason.
Oh, the Gestapo agent?
Yeah.
Okay, with the little round glasses.
Does he have? I don't think he has glasses.
Okay.
He was in Lord of the Rings. He played the dwarf.
Are you talking about John Rhys Davies?
Yeah, that's who I kind of.
The guy who played Gimli. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that works. Yeah, that works.
That's cool. It was interesting that his shot on his camera was so good that you could make out the ring on his finger on the hand holding the door open for her.
Yeah.
Hey, nowadays there's full sensor cameras, but they get really good resolution shots.
Yeah.
But that's supposed to be like a film one, so.
Yeah, well, and But it was a creepy shot too. That picture of her going in the train and the hand holding the door open.
He was being the gentleman before he killed her.
Yeah.
So this is supposed to in the city. The packing district, of course, being a 24-hour neighborhood located on the far west side of Manhattan. It was actually, the slaughterhouse scenes were recorded at Pico Rivera, California, USA.
Oh.
With the interiors.
Yeah.
It doesn't do a bad job looking sort of like New York with all the traffic and people walking and stuff.
Yeah, I don't question it. You know, I mean.
Yeah, but in Los Angeles, people don't really walk anywhere.
Yeah, everybody drives. So this looks like the kind of place where Rocky would go to punch some meat.
Some meat. Yeah.
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 I hit some meat and I kind of liked it.
Yeah. What was the name of Rocky's brother-in-law? I forgot.
His name was one of my favorite characters.
Paulie.
Paulie.
Oh yeah, right.
Am I crazy in thinking I've never seen a camera that had, like, when you look through the viewfinder, you see that weird thing with the lines and the shapes? I never actually saw a camera that had that in the viewfinder. Usually they have like a couple of circles to focus or something like that.
Any camera experts out there listening to this, let us know. Maybe it's that particular camera that he's got, because it's not something I recognize.
Yeah, is that realistic or not?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to find out.
I almost took a job as a butcher.
Oh
really?
Yeah, this guy was offering in South Carolina. He was going to teach somebody, but I was asking if I could, stay there where, if you could, because I didn't have really any kind of, transportation. I was like, I really wanted to learn, but I said I could get down there if my family took me down there, but could I stay, at the place you work? And he was like, no, I can't do that. So, I mean, I ended that, but I was always kind of found that fascinating.
Yeah, like breaking down a carcass and clearing it out and stuff. I mean, I've seen that done with smaller animals. It's quite an experience. Yeah, like skinning a rabbit.
Deer.
Holy crap!
Skinning a deer is pretty interesting too.
Oh yeah, and when I was a kid and I lived in Portugal, my grandparents had a farm. And there's something traditional that's done, which is killing the pig, slaughtering the pig around, fall or whatever. Because the pig's been fattened all through the year, and then it's like time to kill the pig. So what they did was they actually stabbed the pig through the heart. And nowadays, of course, they use like an air gun that puts a spike through the brain. But I saw my grandparents do that. And usually my mom wouldn't want me anywhere near it when they were doing it. But I saw it couple of times. It's actually pretty because the pig doesn't go down quietly,
Oh man, yeah
that's enough to make you swear off meat for a while.
What did you guys think of this scene of the guy taking his camera away and sort of citing Homeland Security or
obviously it's the guys in the thing, in the conspiracy. So it's a way of like not letting him get on the train.
Oh, I got you. Okay, I didn't know if it was just a way to keep the suspense going for a little while longer because he didn't get on the train yet.
I think that guy shows up again, right? The guard. I think.
Does he?
I don't know. I had the impression that I saw him again later in the film, but maybe I'm wrong.
Now, this is UFC fighter Rampage Jackson.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Playing
you just made a Forrest Gump reference there.
Yeah,
I know. A box of chocolates.
Yeah.
He's a pretty impressive guy, Rob.
Yeah, he gets into a nice little fight here.
Did he just get hit in the back of the head with that hammer?
Yeah.
You'd think that'd be kind of the end of him.
Hey,
Rampage
when you got a UFC
Jackson.
fighter as an actor, you use him for a good fight. Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of, that's one thing in this movie, I think, because you have a Japanese director, that none of these people that he attacks ever has a gun.
Yeah, that's especially New York, right?
Yeah. I mean,
This guy has a knife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it would be much more likely for a person to have a gun on him than a gigantic knife.
Well, a gun is coming right now.
Well, yeah, the train conductor though.
Yeah.
That is a huge knife, man.
Yeah. It's like Crocodile Dundee knife.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking about. That's not a knife.
Yeah. Oh.
This is
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Hey, put them in a rear naked choke.
Yeah. This
The
is
UFC.
in this movie. If somebody gets their hand smashed by the hammer, it's like they could still use their hand later.
And again, just a reminder, that hammer and all the knives were made out of rubber, which is kind of a staple for a lot of things that we see in movies, like guns and stuff. They're usually made out of rubber and they're painted to look like they're metal.
Yeah.
Unless they're actually firing them, then, it's a real gun. But nowadays, with the muzzle flashes being put in CGI, they could just be rubber guns too.
Yeah. Well, that would
Somebody shot with a
that
bullet.
would have saved Brandon
Okay.
Lee's life if they'd had something like that.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, sometimes you see films where they're like holding the guns and they're not even pointing. They're just holding a machine gun with one hand and just spraying it all over the place. And they put the little muzzle flashes in CGI.
Yeah.
It looks so fake. All right. This Nookie scene is going to turn into kind of a creepy vibe later on.
Yeah, kind of like Frank and Julia.
Yeah. Yeah. It's uncomfortable at some point to watch it.
Well, it starts off so sweet. I mean, it kind of, it's a sex scene. It just seems
Yeah.
like, it's
And-
passionate.
And then it moves into that sort of almost rape, and then they cut away, and they don't ever see the reaction to it. Was she still happy about it, and that's the. I mean, she's really excited about this, but is this a real thing where somebody gives a ring to be engaged? I mean, that just seems so corny, and it's like it doesn't mean anything.
I don't know. I mean, I never engaged or asked anybody to
Yeah,
marry. I don't know where we. My dad told me when he proposed to Mom, he had the ring in his glove compartment. Was like, open that glove compartment. There's something for you. So,
Oh,
yeah.
that's what he said to her.
that's cool. I proposed on the top of a Ferris wheel in Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio. So
wow.
that's yeah. But it seems like a very matter-of-fact proposal here. It's like, he could have taken her out to dinner or something and it would have been better.
Well, but he didn't even have an engagement ring. It was a prequel ring. It's like this is almost
where did the ring come from? Is what you're saying? I think.
Yeah,
I know what you're
he
saying.
could have just saved that money that he bought this not engagement ring and just used that towards an actual engagement ring.
Yeah, I know. But that fight scene in the subway, just that we saw or before this shot, that's the first indication that Mahogany is sick when he has a moment of weakness.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna see more of that soon. Oh wow, look at that shot.
Holy cow.
He's been busy. I always wonder where he finds all those people because mostly he just shows like one or two. But this is probably a dream scene because we're going to see it now. Yeah. Again, another of those foreshadowing scenes that kind of spoils the ending of the movie a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we know it's a dream, so
right.
nobody believes it's actually happening. But you get this first indication that, oh wow, so he's dreaming that he's Mahogany now.
Yeah.
I think I'm a little far ahead from you guys. I'll just pause my movie for a couple of seconds.
I don't think so. He's unbuttoning his shirt right now.
Okay. Yeah, I think whatever this was supposed to be, it could have looked a little more realistic.
Oh, yeah.
But it could be,
It
yes.
in there to be creepy as hell. They even say that on the commentary that those things don't really make it.
Could be like some skin cancer or something.
Yeah.
I've looked at some skin cancer images when I was looking at the movie and making my notes, and I did find some skin cancer things that kind of look like that, just not in that number, you know.
And it's weird that he only picks like a couple of them to cut off. It's like you've got some worse ones there you could have taken off.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Rob?
He puts them in these jars, and it's like, you know, he collects them over a period of time, and they're all.
Yeah.
Just, you know, I think it's just a moment to really make the audience go kind of cringe.
Yeah.
And it does a good job of that.
Looks like he's putting them in Listerine or something.
Yeah.
It's gonna need it.
I think in the original story, it's a little more. There's an indication that Mahogany knows that he's sick and that he is sick with something terminal. They just don't show him cutting off anything from his body like this.
Yeah.
I guess they added this because it's more visually interesting for the movie.
And it's a little alien to kind of say, hey, this is exposure to something, or there's something weird going on with him and his job.
Yeah.
It's not just like he's old.
Yeah.
The first signs of obsession right here.
Yeah.
And you were saying at the beginning, Ryan, that they added this so there could be some sort of mystery, and that he's a photographer and he's going to be like trying to find unravel a mystery for the movie to make it more interesting. It's better than just waking up one night in a train and discovering, oh, shucks, you know, I'm in a train with a killer. But I don't know. I mean, I just think that they put this in the movie to make it more interesting, and it's just feels a little tacked on sometimes, you know?
Yeah. Well,
another thing you mentioned is that you were asking if this was in present time, and you know, obviously people nowadays would look for news using the internet.
Instead
of
it's
nice to see, microfilm research going on. But all right,
they still have microfilm kind of research like that, or
I'm sure they must, because it would be a huge job to scan all that stuff.
Yeah.
I guess in libraries you can still find those.
Yeah.
So
What's
here
the
we
name
go.
of the place he works? I said it says I can't read it.
Oh, I didn't see.
It just says meat packing, and then there was an address like 141 Heron Street on the metal door.
Yeah, you made
He
a
slips
good.
into this place pretty easy, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got the people. I mean, he just passed two guys. Obviously, had a camera, and I mean, like,
Yeah.
around his neck. They just they don't care.
And then people don't know each other enough to know when there's some guy here that's not one of their, coworkers.
Yeah, that's one of those moments that I think you kind of suspend your disbelief, especially because he keeps coming back to this place and nobody asks him anything.
Yeah. He even knocks a guy over one time.
Yeah.
It is almost like a kind of a robotic kind of job. Everybody just comes in there and starts cutting meat. So,
yeah.
why would you really?
The Jose, that what you were saying earlier about it feels a little tacked on. It's also strange that he gets so obsessed with all of this, and it has nothing to do with him trying to get his shots for the. I mean, I guess this is a shot he actually uses, but it doesn't. He's not. It's him getting shots for his gallery opening are really just sort of it just sort of follows, I guess, but it's not.
Yeah,
it's not what he's trying to do.
Yeah, he wants to be in that exhibit so much, but at the same time, he's obsessed about it because he saw that model. He saw her and she kissed him, and he kind of got this personal relationship with that mystery now that he's trying to unravel.
Yeah.
I love the way the director directs that. It's like he turns and looks, and Bradley Cooper turns away, then he looks back, and he's like right in front of him.
Yeah, and it's going to happen again here in a second, too. Yeah, this is, I mean, even though it's weird, even though he's going to come out of this okay, I mean, out of this scene, it's still scary.
Yeah.
It's unsettling because we see all this like meat hanging around.
Yeah.
And now I can't help but wonder if this was actually real carcasses or just plastic stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You're right.
It might have been cheaper to actually shoot it in like a big freezer.
I wonder if they are. I wonder if they're real meat also, because they really don't. I mean, there's not a lot of messing with him or screwing him up, except for him hanging on this one right now. But
Yeah.
You're right. It probably is real meat.
Either that, or there's a storage space in Hollywood full of fake carcasses.
Yeah. And they. It's funny now. He slowly lowers himself down, and then Mahogany's like right there.
It's like cartoony. Like, he's right behind me, isn't he?
Yeah, that happens a bunch in this movie where people don't look back, but they know instinctively that he's right behind them.
That happens to Jurgis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I discovered watching this movie and researching that there's a website called where'sthejump.com. It's a website that tells you where the jump scares are in movies.
Oh, to protect you from it.
Yeah. And you can even download like a subtitle file that will alert you, there's a jump scare coming.
Wow, like the dog in Candyman.
Yeah, and they sure have a page for this movie.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You come back now, you hear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quit staring at my lunch.
It does look like a good steak.
I got a really good vibe, a Candyman vibe when Vinnie Jones is like holding that hook, just that last shot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. A lot of Clive Barker's movies. I was just thinking before we watched this. A lot of the weapons or implements in these films always have edges to them, like hook edges. You know, the weapons by the Cenobites, Candyman's hook, and Hoggin's butcher. I mean, his hook. It's just all very sharp edged. You know.
Yeah, like an axe in Dread, and lots of knives in this movie. Hellraiser, of course, hooks and chains.
Yeah, chains.
And knives. So I think they're more interesting because when you're thinking about horror, a knife is something that, by the way, that's not the picture he took. He never took that picture in the scene that we just saw.
Right, yeah, and that would sort of imply that he took like 10 pictures.
Yeah.
But he only just took the one and then he ran away.
Yeah, because he turned around and saw him, and that's when he ran away.
But exactly. The picture he actually took, though, we see in the gallery.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what I was saying was that knives are much more interesting for a horror movie because the killer has to get up close and personal with the victim. Whereas a gun, you can just shoot someone, and it's not interesting.
Yeah.
The handheld work of the camera here really adds to the tension and disorientation, you know.
Yeah.
You can tell the camera stops fidgeting as much once their discussion quiets down, and then it becomes fidgety again when he's going to be taking her pictures.
And she's sort of become a Laurie here, right? Where she's freaked out by his weird, this weird obsession, but she wants to stick by him and help him. She doesn't want to just leave.
Right. She's rejecting the mystery. She's saying, there's no conspiracy theory. Just stop with it. What do you want? Do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
She's trying to keep him grounded, and he's just losing himself in the mystery. Kind
of
like Boone does when he's looking for Midian.
Yeah.
I think she's seeing a side that she doesn't like.
So there's a IMDb had a little trivia thing saying that newspaper article from 1895 that he just handed her. It talks about like bikini-clad babes and something or other, and
I just read one of the lines.
If you pause it, I guess you can read that.
Oh, you mean like the dummy text on the
exactly.
page? Okay, got it.
Which if we had paused it, I guess we'd be seeing that.
Well, when I watched Hellbound on Blu-ray, and there was that Children of the Vortex, the link between puberty and psychic phenomena. If you have a good, clear shot of that from the Blu-ray and you read what's actually written, it's just talking about something else completely, like that has nothing to do with the Children of the Vortex or puberty.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. I forgot what it was, but I do have a screenshot of that. Yeah, like here the camera has become less handheld, less shaky
Yeah.
when things are quieting down, and then it's going to get shaky again.
Yeah, because it's almost like she almost got through to him, but no. And if he had only listened to her at this point, then everything would have been fine, probably. Although Mahogany starts stalking him.
She's freaking out.
Yeah. And this is weird. This scene is really weird that he's taking pictures of her and she's like, but then he starts crying.
Yeah, because he can't. He's trying hard to stop what he's doing, and he's trying to get into the moment, but he just can't. The mystery is too important. He just can't get out of it. He feels consumed and lost and doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's what's throwing him in a spiral here. Yeah. She's just trying to, attract him and get him out of it, to snap out of it. But she's also getting scared because she sees that she's not getting through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's not enough. She's feeling like she's not enough to snap him out of it.
Has he said he's not slept in days or something like that?
Oh, yeah, I believe that.
Yeah. It looks like he's not slept.
Yeah. Which also helps you get into that spiral really quickly.
And in a little bit later in this, just coming up right here, he just says, like, you were right, and that's enough to win her back.
That guy's such a colorful character. It's just so funny.
Yeah.
I like his
If this
bandana.
if this were a typical horror movie, he would have gotten killed.
Yeah. But when you see him on a House MD, he just plays like such a straight-laced, like, doctor guy.
Oh, really?
And here is just like a, a diner owner in New York.
Making Philly cheesesteaks.
Yeah.
Those guys, they act like that too, don't they? I mean, I've never been to New York, but I'm pretty sure they have a very good charisma with their...
Yeah, New Yorkers are known for being very colorful.
Yeah.
He looks pretty clean cut here. He looks healthy. He looks happy, but he's not.
Yep, and he's actually looking in the mirror and seeing Mahogany behind him.
Oh, okay. I missed that part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of
good
like they're
catch.
both... That's weird. It's kind of like this, kind of, I guess, a precursor to what's going to happen, I guess.
Yeah, and so when he said you were right, and he was about to turn everything around, and then he sees Mahogany behind him, and now it's all over. Now he's sort of past the point of no return, and for the first time, stepping onto the train. I think stepping onto the train is the point of no return, right? I mean, this is the moment now where...
Yeah, and nobody was there to stop him this
Journey,
time.
yeah, begins.
It's like they say, he's looking through the mirror, and when you stare at the abyss stares back at you. The subway tunnel shots really add to the idea of like these arteries or veins running under the city, this underworld. Yeah.
And then they stop at the secret heart.
Kind of reminds me of like the Dead Have Highways kind of thing,
Oh, yeah.
The blood.
So there's an actual guard right there. I never noticed that before. But he must disappear here in a little bit.
When Mahogany gets up further ahead, that's actually kind of like the poster shot. When the poster shot that we see Mahogany across a window holding the hammer. There are two versions of that poster, actually.
Yeah, I have that one.
You got
One
it
of
signed?
them. Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, that's really cool that you got that.
Yeah, and I've got a big drawing of one of the city fathers on it by Clive.
Oh, awesome.
What's that? You have to take a picture of that and put it on the show notes.
I keep trying. Yeah. I keep trying to take pictures of it, and it doesn't.
Oh.
It does. Yeah. It's hard to photograph because it's mahogany's blurry, and I'll give that a shot. Also, my phone is
take out the
right
flash.
now.
Oh, okay. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Usually, just take it sideways and don't use flash because otherwise it'll just shine back.
I could try with my iPad though.
This is a funny scene when you're thinking is
he's reaching for a hammer or something and
yeah.
Pulls out $1.
So it's funny. It's like they always show this switch in the tunnels to like, okay, this is the normal route over here on the left, but when it goes to the right, then it's just this tunnel with no stops and it goes really fast and everybody on here from now on is going to die. Yeah, so is that the poster shot or I think so.
Yes, and there's two versions. There's one where he's very clear, you can see him through the window, and there's another one where the window is kind of frosted. And so you just see like his shape, and that's not a well-known poster. I think the better-known poster is the one where you see him clearly through the window.
Oh, mine is the blurry one. They were giving them out free at the signing.
Dark Delicacies.
Dark Delicacies, in 2008, and Jeff Bueller was there, the screenwriter with Clive Barker.
Originally, go ahead, Rob.
I was just going to ask Ryan real quick, what did Clive have to say about the handling of the film? Did you ask him any questions?
I did. I really awkwardly tried to talk about it. I said, I was pretty upset about what happened to you with Midnight Meat Train, and he goes, "You were upset." Oh, God, I'm sorry. I was trying to bring it up, and
you didn't do anything. I mean, he's just agreeing with you, really.
Yeah. At first, I didn't realize why he was extracting the teeth and nails out of the corpses. But then I realized, it's a way to render the body unidentifiable. I mean, butchering animals, we don't worry about that because we just throw the heads and the paws away. But to do that with a human would allow an investigation to discover what happened to the bodies, right? I mean, on the other hand, though, Mahogany is in control of the carcasses now, so he could drop them off wherever he wanted in a secret place. It seems like wasted work if they're going to introduce a secret underworld unknown to man.
Well, and then pulling the nails off, that's so painful to watch. But then at the same time, he's giving them to the city fathers, and these people all just disappear, and they just get added to the bone pile.
That's right, which is full of skulls, which means that they put the heads there.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a ritual thing. Maybe it's a way to render the victims impersonal. Make them less human looking if they don't have any distinguishing marks, like cutting their hair off and stuff.
It's some kind of direction
it's
that he gets.
When he just scoops the eyeballs out like that. Oh man, it's so grisly.
And he just gets his direction from the city fathers, maybe, and he doesn't even understand why he has to do all this stuff.
But this is taken from the story. This is taken from the original story. He did clip their hairs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just.
So
right through the ankle there.
Yeah, and so with everybody else that gets hung up upside down like that, they're speared through their ankles or their shins or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But our main character gets hung upside down, and we don't get any indication that he's wounded like that.
Well, no, because that's another thing, right? He gets caught. I mean, I'm spoiling this scene right now, but he's going to get caught, and then he's going to wake up.
It'll be just 30 seconds from now anyway, but...
Yeah. The way he wakes up and he's immediately killed isn't comprehensible, and I think this makes the movie break down a little. I mean, he's a witness. There's no logical reason to let him go, even when they introduce the mark that he's going to receive. So we'll talk to that. We'll talk about that when it shows up.
Do you think that Mahogany knew that he was somehow chosen?
Well, yeah, it certainly seems that way, right?
Yeah.
He just would have killed him, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he probably wants to kill him, but maybe he can't. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I'm just being an apologist for some of the stuff in this movie.
Maybe Mahogany himself is looking for a replacement.
Yeah.
It's a possibility.
It would be. I think he would probably prefer to be able to just retire instead of getting murdered by his predecessor.
How old
And
is
maybe this scene is meant to show that maybe he's asking the city father to be my successor worthy, because they're going to grab him and they're going to touch him.
Yeah.
And they're going to sniff him out.
Yeah. So that
So
might
I
be
think
why
this
he
scene is
didn't.
meant to mean that.
Maybe that's why he didn't spear him through the ankles to hang him upside down.
Yeah, because regardless of whether or not Bradley Cooper wants to do it, he is a guy who's actually managed in following Mahogany and finding out the mystery. So he's smart.
Yeah.
The producers wanted to cut this stuff out though, with him getting the mark and all that stuff involving the creatures.
All the city fathers.
They loved the butchery, the butcher aspect, but when they got to the kind of weird kind of Clive Barker stuff, they were like, "What does all this mean?"
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I'm so glad that
struggle with the Hollywood system.
Yeah, and Kitamura wouldn't have been able to get this stuff through if it weren't for Clive Barker insisting.
Yeah, he said he'd walk in the commentary if they didn't let him have some kind of compromise to this.
Yeah, and
I think the thing is, we're still at the hour mark, and so if they had just not added something else to pad the story a little more, then this would have gone straight into the final scene.
Yeah, and
it would have been a short film, so they had to find a way to make the story go a little further. And from now on, I think most of this is just padded. This is not in the original story.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he rides on the train 3 times instead of just the one time.
Mm-hmm.
And this...
I was asking, how old is Mahogany? How old do you think he is? I mean, he's actually been around for a long time.
Yeah, so he's over 100.
Yeah.
I don't think he's over 100. I think there's been other killers who have worked for the City Fathers who have done the same thing
they just passed the book along.
Yeah.
Right. I guess if definitively they wanted us to think that he was over 100 years old, then they would have had an old newspaper picture of him or something from the microfiche. I mean, that would have been a typical thing to do in a movie.
Yeah, in 1895.
Yeah.
I think the movie is set up to make us think that there's been several killers.
Mm.
Oh no, he got the mark of Thorn.
Oh God.
Mark of Thorn.
She's thinking he went cuckoo.
Are you talking about from the Blade Master, the Ator movie?
Talking about
Halloween 6.
Oh, there's in the second Ator movie. There's the mark of Torin, which they spell it Thorn.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I see.
Here in a little bit, we need to. I like the music in this movie too. I need to get the soundtrack. I thought, who's the composer who did this? He did a really good score.
I have it too, and I when we started the podcast, I bought every single soundtrack I could find, but it's on iTunes.
There's a piece of music coming on when Bradley Cooper's sitting in his tub that's really creepy.
Yeah.
It's a really kind of gross scene. And just he's kind of that Marquis is bleeding in the water, and it's just.
And his water looks like it's got weird stuff floating in it. It looks putrid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, geez, you got to hand it to her for sticking by him with all of this. She really, really wants to help him.
I'm trying to find the soundtrack credit on this movie. I was not very impressed about the soundtrack. I think the soundtrack is very subdued, and I didn't even notice it that much, but I guess I was watching it with the sound turned low, so I might have missed out on some of that. It's like, nope, what are you doing?
He's getting more violent with her and just...
Yeah.
Yeah, he's totally consumed. He's totally lost it.
He's getting in that kind of butcher kind of mood, or murderous kind of...
Yeah. And he uses their kitchen as a dark room.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, how does he get it dark enough in there?
Yeah.
The blackout curtains.
Oh man, yeah. And so this is kind of a horror movie trope that I wish that I don't know. I don't like that she and Jurgis go investigate this guy's apartment. I mean, I understand why they do it, but it's such a horror movie trope that, let's do something really stupid and put ourselves in danger.
Cliche.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not just that. I mean, yeah, there's like here, there is no way they would know what room he lived in.
Oh yeah.
The story just keeps unraveling. Not only that, there's no reason to assume Mahogany would have kept the camera with him with the evidence.
Yeah.
Because when you see that, yeah, like how do they know what floor he lived in? And especially how would they know what door was his? Because they weren't even looking at what door he came out of. They were hiding in that other hallway there.
And if they tried to find out, no one would ever cooperate.
Of course. I mean, what hotel would tell you, we want to know where this guy lives in? They'd be like, sorry, we can't tell you where our guests are.
Especially if they're in on some kind of conspiracy.
Yeah,
What's the term you have to use for like when you just have to say story just has to move along? You just have to go with it. There's a term for it. Deus Machina or something like that.
Deus Ex Machina.
Deus Machina.
That's usually where an explanation comes out of nowhere, or a character comes out of nowhere and fixes everything, and it's like, okay, well, everything got fixed at the end.
God in the machine.
Because that comes from Greek theater, where Greeks were really big on drama and tragedies and stuff. But then sometimes at the end, like a god would come down to earth and be like, all right, well, I'm going to forgive you and I'm going to make everything right. That was where the term came from. Deus Ex Machina.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
This is more like a little shoddy writing here.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. How big can a hotel room be?
Yeah, it is huge.
It's more like an apartment.
I was talking about how they used. It's well shot the way they did it. I really like some of the shots they get out of this.
So this guy stays outside so he can yell out if Mahogany comes. But in that long hallway, Mahogany would immediately see them anyway when he came into the hallway. So
and that's why Jurgis decides, all right, never mind, I'm just coming in to help so we can get out of here faster.
Yeah, these people are terrible going through someone's apartment.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and you're internally just screaming at these people like, just get out of there. What are you doing?
I think it's pretty funny. Mahogany has some Pop-Tarts up there on top of his refrigerator.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I missed that.
Because I wondered if he even eats, because he goes straight from work to sitting in the subway platform for hours waiting for the train. I mean, he could have...
Maybe he snacks at work.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, because he could just go get something to eat and, instead of sitting on a platform for 3 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
Again, you're just screaming at the screen saying, hurry up. I'm waiting for a shot of her like looking under the carpet for the camera.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Just close that, pharmacy cabinet and just go check something else.
Yeah, right. She knows that it's not in his medicine cabinet because there's no way the camera's going to fit in there.
And
She's
here's
staring at it for like ever too.
Yeah.
There's no reason why he would come back to his apartment either. I mean,
that was a good shot though. I like the shot.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah, this is interesting where it goes over, the camera sort of floats over the wall. It's showing that it's a set, I guess, but...
Yeah, I don't know how to really this scene kind of is written poorly. It really is. I have to agree now after watching it and talking with you guys about it. I didn't really pay enough attention about it before, but now I'm seeing the flaws in it.
And it's just painful because, Jurgis is their friend and you don't want, he's just trying to help and this is what happens to him.
Jurgis is realizing that Mahogany has a horrible fashion sense because all his clothes look the same.
And here we go the second time when, Mahogany's behind you and you just know. I mean, maybe he heard him, but she just ruined his jar full of tumors.
Oh.
Was Jurgis trying on a jacket or something? He was like fixing his jacket collar.
No, I think he was just putting the camera around his neck.
Oh, okay.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Okay. He did find the camera. There you go. Of course, she didn't know that.
So does she really does have this book? I didn't quite watching this last night. I didn't quite understand because she says Jurgis has it, but she never looks at it again.
Yeah, I don't think she took it with her, did she? I didn't notice that.
Yeah,
I also thought it was weird that she says Jurgis had it when she hasn't seen Jurgis in a while now. She has no idea.
So I mean, he already got hit. She did take it. There it is. She put it in her shirt.
You know, I feel cheated. It's not the midnight meat train. It's more like the 2-3 a.m. train. Because that's the times that he's got like circled there.
Yeah. Anytime after midnight is midnight, I guess.
The lighting in this movie is really good. It really does set a tone for, suspense.
Worst hide and seek guy ever.
Yeah. Yeah, there's his arm sticking out.
Yep. You can see his shoulder right there. I mean, come on, Mahogany. You can do better than that.
Well, and all that blood on the hammer kind of makes it look like he killed Jurgis, but he didn't.
Yeah. Okay.
We're going to find out later that Jurgis isn't dead.
Right, okay, yeah. But you're right, yeah. Then why was all that blood on his hammer?
Yeah.
Here's that shot you were talking about, Rob.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, look how putrid that water is.
Everything is...
I think it's meant to have some blood from like his forehead cut and stuff.
I mean, it might just be the way the lighting is that makes it look so horrible, but it just looks like he's in filth.
Yeah. And the sound, the music here really just... just bothers me.
You know, it's the old trick, like if someone's naked in the bathtub, make the water really, really opaque so you can't see.
Right, yeah. It's
that
not
he's wearing
like
shorts.
Because he's obviously not going to be in a bubble bath.
Right.
So they've got CRT monitors on their computers. We've never seen anybody using a cell phone, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
I remember the director saying he wanted to give...
Although in this movie that wouldn't matter much because...
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's the necklace. Now you can see it.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, in this movie, cell phones wouldn't matter too much because if you've ever been in the subway and tried to have cell phone service, you'll realize that you can't use it.
Right, yeah, definitely.
It often doesn't have any service under the ground.
Yeah, so now she's openly wearing the necklace with the symbol so that we all will recognize it from his ring, or at least maybe on a second viewing. I mean, I don't think I ever noticed that the first time through.
What I think is weird is that she goes to the cops to complain about breaking illegally into someone's room.
Yeah. Right, and then, of course, the police she just focuses on the fact that she broke in and entered, and luckily he's not going to press charges.
Also, didn't the police officer say that the apartment was empty, and then she says, "Oh, but the tenant says you stole an album from the room and he wants it back."
Yeah.
So which one is it? Was it empty or
That's true. And maybe she just means empty, like Jurgis wasn't there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this part where she says that Jurgis probably has it, it's like, you have no idea. You saw it, you left it there, you ran out. It's like, why would you say Jurgis has it? Maybe she's saying it so the police will go try to find him. But
yeah.
Now, isn't Brooke Shields' character really a part of the whole thing too?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think
in the script, I think she was kind of hinted at being that in the original script.
Yeah, but it seems like it was edited in a way to make her not. And Jurgis too, right? I think wasn't Jurgis in on it originally in the script, and then they changed it so that he's not.
I don't remember that part.
But all these guys leading Kaufman towards the mystery.
Should probably mention that there is that book, Midnight Meat Train, that has not only a facsimile of the script and production photos, but also the original short story. I think you can still find a copy of that.
Oh yeah, it's on Amazon. Great book. check it out. It's really good.
Oh, here's this line coming up about this picture is kind of poignant, I guess, for the movie.
Uh-huh.
What Brooke Shields says about it.
I think it's funny that she's introducing Bradley Cooper to the Franks. They never buy photography, and I want to ask, then why the heck are they at a photography show?
Yeah.
Are you guys seeing that part now, the Franks?
Yeah.
Okay.
She says, I'm not holding my breath on that one. It's too bleak or something like that. And it's kind of like foreshadowing of how this movie did theatrically.
And I think that one of the pictures that he took, she said, bring me 2 or 3 pictures and then you'll be in the show. And one of the pictures is just a shot of the carcasses. And I don't think there's anything interesting about that shot.
No, it's really
I'm
just
surprised.
Yeah, it's really just support for the other picture.
Yeah. And when he starts getting like all freaked out about this picture, it feels like that part where Dan Aykroyd is looking at the Vigo painting in Ghostbusters 2.
Oh god, I haven't seen that movie since it came out. Is there anything good about it? Is it worth revisiting? Because I remember hating Ghostbusters 2.
Oh geez, I don't know.
It's aged pretty well, I think.
Yeah.
That's
I like
funny.
it.
It's fun.
I just remember, I was a kid, but I remember like, they used a Nintendo controller to control the Statue of Liberty, and
Oh, sure. I guess you
positive
would.
slime and negative slime, and
Well, the Statue of Liberty is walking around. So.
yeah. So she's not scared here. She's telling her where Jurgis is because she wants her to go get on the train too, so that I don't have to deal with you anymore.
Oh, geez. She just grabbed the gun.
Oh, you're way behind now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's already finished talking to the police woman again.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. I'll
Now
just
she's
jump
headed
ahead a
into
little
the
bit.
train station.
Let me know when Bradley Cooper is going into the meat packing thing.
Right now. Or,
Okay.
well, yeah,
Gotcha.
now she's stepping onto the train.
Yep. I'm all,
Okay.
yeah, I'm all caught up.
Okay.
This movie does a really good job. They're really good actors, and you can, there's definite proof of that in the fact that Bradley Cooper is now an Oscar-winning performer.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know he won an Oscar.
Probably Silver Linings Playbook, I'd imagine. I think that was pretty well critically received.
They were going to cast him in the Crow remake.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I kind of wish they wouldn't do that. I don't know. I feel that way about a lot of remakes, but just leave it alone. I mean, there's nothing about The Crow that says, "Oh, this would be so much better if we made it today."
Yeah. I like this scene. He's getting prepared for like a battle.
Yeah.
A warrior.
Yeah,
I wanted
and
to get
he's also dressing himself up like a butcher. I mean, he could have just gone and bought a gun.
He wants to meet Mahogany on the same kind of level.
Yeah. He's dressed for the job that you want, not for the job that you have.
I just want to correct myself really quickly. Yeah, you're right. He didn't win. He was nominated for 4 Oscars, though.
Oh,
or 3.
Wow.
Yeah, he was nominated for An American Sniper, American Hustle, and The Silver Linings Playbook, but he didn't win. Okay, so my bad there. I'm sure someone was yelling at the podcast saying he never won an Oscar. You're right.
No, maybe.
I would love that. I wanted to get like one of those, what is it? Kind of chrome-made aprons that butchers use. Man,
yeah.
they're so expensive.
Chainmail? Yeah.
Yeah, chainmail.
I had one time
The gloves are too.
One time my stepsister posted this link on Facebook of like Bradley Cooper doing an interview in French, and she was like, "Oh my God, he's so dreamy" or whatever. So I commented with a YouTube video of him getting his tongue ripped out.
Oh, God.
Well, that's funny. What'd you say?
She did not. I don't remember. I know she didn't like it.
Oh, Gene. No wonder.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a strong girl. I mean, she goes into this and she's willing to figure out what's going on.
Yeah. And to her credit, she does hit him with one of the bullets, but it hits his apron.
Mm-hmm.
Just on the one day that he happens to be wearing a chainmail apron instead of just like, all the other days when he's just wearing a suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, this movie didn't have to be this long, though. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying.
But it's only 98 minutes. I mean, it would be really substandard length if they'd gone with what's in the short story.
I'm looking at a version that's 1 hour and 42 minutes. That's 102 minutes for me.
Yeah, me too. I think it's in IMDb it says 98, which I don't think is correct.
Probably not the director's cut.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. And honestly, I don't really know all the differences that well between the two versions because I never saw the theatrical one. They didn't even put it on this Blu-ray. I mean, I don't think that Clive Barker cared about the theatrical version, or Kitamura.
Oh my God, that shot just reminds me of Terminator 2.
Yeah, right. Yeah, using the hook to... I mean, that's not... It doesn't seem like something a person could really do.
Yeah. It would rip your arm off or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, you wanted to see, you wanted to know.
Yeah.
Now you
Now
know.
you know. And they turned all these bodies so that you can't see their junk.
Yeah, good idea, yeah. Good point.
See their buttocks.
So she's
Because, hey,
like...
you can see their teeth being taken out and all that stuff.
There's poor Jurgis. He should have had the back of his head smashed in with a hammer, but he seems okay, except for, his present circumstances.
I think he shouldn't be in this scene. I think he just shouldn't be here at all.
Yeah, it's done just to add some extra tension to the scene.
Yeah.
I think it's just about that shot in the hotel room.
They should have showed Jurgis like hanging in the wardrobe inside a plastic bag. That would have been a cool shot to show Jurgis dead, and then she would run away.
Yeah, they wanted to add just a little more extra horror to the scene.
I guess Mahogany saves all the clothes, and then probably takes them to the Salvation Army or the flea market.
Yeah, okay. Right. He really doesn't want to get blood all over those clothes. But now he's got blood on his clothes.
Yeah. And white shirt.
Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe he just brings a change of clothes in his bag.
Yeah, I did bring that up earlier in the commentary, the possibility. Okay. So. Yeah, you're supposed to shoot with your eyes open, honey.
Oh, man, that would hurt.
Capone.
God, man, he's right in front of you. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, but she did hit his apron, I think, and it bounced off.
Oh, it did. I
don't think that she did too. She missed twice and hit him once. And
like the cold gaze of Mahogany as she begs for her life is just says it all.
And it's a repeat of that shot with the woman that was with Ted Raimi, right? She was holding her hands up and begging him, to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And why are you doing this?
And this is like the showdown. It's like Mahogany is facing his destiny. He's like, oh, okay, so you are worthy. You're here.
Yeah, he smiled. I mean, you'd think that if he's going to be in a fight for his life, he wouldn't be smiling, but. Well, and why does he fight him too? Because if he wanted him to take his job, he could be just like, all right, you take over here. I'm leaving.
I guess he doesn't want to go down like a sheep. He doesn't want to let him kill him, and that's what he's trying to do.
No, that's true.
Make it easy.
Oh,
this is so brutal.
Is this the stuff that really makes you Ron, I remember you saying you have a hard time watching this. The ending.
No,
Really?
it's not. I mean, this is kind of gross, but it's more. I have a real problem with watching rape or watching people, being tortured or people begging for their lives.
Yeah.
And getting killed anyway. It's just.
Oh yeah.
Like,
now that I remember, you did bring up like a couple of episodes ago that you don't like to see your own blood getting drawn.
Yeah.
You kind of get fainty. So I was wondering about that. But obviously, we know in our minds that this is not real blood and it's not real corpses, so it helps.
Yeah. Well, and like, for me, like watching Reservoir Dogs is just as bad as watching this movie because you got somebody begging for their life and getting his ear cut off and then eventually killed.
Oh, yeah. And a lot of blood in that one too.
Yeah. I just.
He hit him with that decapitated arm. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I don't. So that's weird, right? Because people get hit with this hammer doesn't do as much damage as getting hit with an arm. And like
I love it.
He gets hit in the face and all this blood
fun.
sprays out of his mouth.
Moment.
Every time I see a movie where someone gets to hit someone in the face with an arm, I cheer. It's like it's hilarious. There's a movie called Deadly Prey where I think it's a guy called David Pryor. It's like a cheap Rambo movie, and this guy is like being hunted in the middle of the woods, and he gets one of these mercenaries, chops off his arm with a giant knife, and then beats him to death with the arm.
Oh.
It's just so funny.
Instead of just stabbing him with the knife.
Yes.
And all this blood that comes out of Jurgis right now is like, holy cow.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see why they ran out of blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, this scene really.
They couldn't get blood anywhere in Los Angeles at that time, so they had to give up and start using CGI, and they really didn't want to.
Ran out of it in Los Angeles? That's crazy.
Yeah, he said everywhere they went, they couldn't get it.
Especially a lot of this stuff is just corn syrup.
Yeah. So he just got his hand smashed with the hammer, but later on in the fight, we're going to see him using his hand.
Train. This train can't drop below 60 or everything's going to explode.
Yeah.
Speed.
And so this is no longer like a normal tunnel at this point. This is a tunnel that's going through like bedrock or whatever, and it's just unrecognizable.
It's going into like that kind of Lovecraftian kind of, vibe that Clive brought to the original story.
I wish that they had gone, full tilt into that instead of just only hinting like they do.
Yeah. Of course, it's never over when this happens. It's never over.
Yeah.
There's going to be some last scare.
Yeah. Well, and you're also kind of feeling that wait, where is this train stopping now? What how are these guys going to get out of this? You don't realize that, of course, that Mahogany's going to come back, but it makes sense that he would because that's what happens in horror movies. Even though he had to walk like probably 10 miles to get it.
I love these like moments when it's like the kind of foggy, and you see the skulls.
And the lighting is really good.
The lights cut off. It just creates, just silence. It's really good.
Everything is like orange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, the original story is a little different in this part.
Yeah. And here comes the train man. So, do you guys think that this train man is human? Because he's super strong. He can lift Leon off the ground by his neck like Darth Vader. By one hand.
I don't know if that means he's super strong, but yeah, I think he's human. I think he's just part of this.
It's a great line he gives him. Please.
Step away from the meat.
Yeah.
And he so he can lift him up by his neck by one hand, and he says us, like he talks about when he's talking about the city fathers in a little bit, when he's at the ending here, he says, he says us, like he includes himself in with them.
I don't know. I mean, it
sure.
never
I see
really
what
gets
you're
into
trying to.
Yeah.
never really gets into a part of the story where like they take on a person's flesh. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe there was some sort of thing that they underwent working for the City Fathers that would cause them to suffer from that same thing that Mahogany suffers. That's something I was thinking about.
Yeah, he could be. I mean, I think Mahogany is super strong also.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe just humans, they take on some power to do the job.
I have to say, though, I never really thought of the City Fathers as looking this monstrous. I always thought of them as being human-looking, but extremely old and wrinkled and like almost like mole people living under the ground,
Yeah.
That's what I visualized them in this short story.
The picture that Clive drew is like an old on my poster is like an old man with a beard, and he's got little circles on his chest, and he's holding an eyeball in his hand, and he's got like fins going down like Godzilla going down his head and his back.
Yeah,
So
I just saw that later.
Mixture of human and and like
Lovecraftian.
Yeah. Was it kind of like remember that? Have y'all seen that movie The Descent, where those monsters started evolving into something else because they'd been, they were originally human, I believe, and they just started evolving into something else. So maybe I guess that's what the City Fathers probably.
He's like, oh wait, we both have the same mark on our chest, and I think here might be where Mahogany sort of resigns himself to the fact that he's being replaced. But he's still trying to kill him.
I like how his eyes are completely black in this scene.
Yeah.
It certainly looked like he's got some contacts going on. Yeah. Oh,
did y'all
geez,
notice
this is really...
earlier that there was like a shot of some like hooks, not hooks, but chains hanging when him and his Bradley Cooper and his girlfriend were just walking. It's kind of like, it reminded me of Hellraiser.
Yeah, absolutely. That's quite a beatdown there.
Yeah, and the Mahogany's, whose hand was broken a second ago, was just using it on him, using it to fight.
Oh.
It reminds me of the beatdown Paul Rudd gives Michael Myers in Halloween 6 theatrical cut.
Yeah, God, that
with a lead pipe.
Yeah.
Like that would do anything to Michael Myers.
He just leaves him.
I don't think I've seen that one.
You might want to check out the producer's cut.
Much better.
Yeah.
I think I know I've seen 1 through 3, and then maybe like 4 or 5. I can't remember.
Here he is. He's talking. He's saying, "Take this."
So does he have a tongue?
Looks like it. I mean, he's got a bone in his throat, so it's kind of hard to...
Yeah, his mouth is full of blood, so...
Yeah.
Welcome. He may not. I think the jury's still
He may
out
not.
on that. Yeah.
This is a little overplayed, like this...
Yeah.
I'm going to hold my arms over my head really slow and then just bring it down.
Well, and the motivation for it, I mean, he's obviously dying. He could have just walked away.
So that Mountain of Bones there, that was sold in the Fangoria auction.
Yeah.
But it's a whole cavern of bones, really. I mean, isn't it? I mean,
yeah.
This guy's hair, I don't like this guy's hair for some reason. I just...
The train conductor?
Yeah, I don't like it. It gets on my nerves. I know it's a pointless comment, but I don't know.
Yeah, it looks pretty powerful. So again, this is like it's really horrible.
Maybe they gain power. Maybe the humans gain power somehow. I don't.
And he takes a bite out of the tongue, which is not something a regular person would do.
Ah, jeez. I'm sure that was cut out some.
Or he just eats it.
Now, in the story, all this dialogue by him is spoken by the City Fathers.
Yeah.
And if you go back, if anybody goes back and look at the trailer, there is a scene that I know they shot. They were starting to shoot at least of the City Fathers. There's a scene where you can see the City Fathers behind Bradley Cooper and he's being talked to by this guy. I don't.
Okay.
I'll try to do a snapshot and get it posted on the notes.
That'd be great. Yeah. So yeah, this shows us what's behind the veil. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think do they ever mention City Fathers in the movie? The name City Fathers?
No, they don't.
No, they just
Man, poor Maya.
That's the thing about this movie, that they never explain what were these creatures. I mean, not that they needed to, but they never explain who these creatures were, what their function was, why it was important to keep them.
He
why it was important to feed
he
them.
says to maintain balance or something like that, or to maintain
Order.
something.
Order must be preserved.
Yeah, or that's it. Order must be preserved. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a vague explanation.
Yeah.
So I guess
Sure.
it's fine.
That was
At
the
least in
middleman
this-
I guess they had to find.
At least in Clive Barker's story, even though Clive Barker's ending is also a little vague, but he does call them the City Fathers. He says they're important to the running of the city. He calls like the other creature the First American.
Yeah.
And there's a certain it makes you think about what that could mean. Whereas this one is just like, well, they're just monsters. It's always been this way. It preserves order. But that's a really vague explanation.
Right, and are these unthinking monsters? They don't talk. They just growl and rip at bodies and stuff.
Yeah, it feels like the humans are more like the caretakers of these monsters, whereas in the story, it felt like the monsters bossed the humans around in some way. They had a structure. They had a hierarchy.
And the monsters didn't like the fact that they had to eat people, but they had to. They said something like, in the short story, there was something like, we don't like this any more than you do.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
For our listeners who ever if you purchase that book in the script, there's actually the ending's a little different in the way they wanted to shoot the script. I mean, the way the ending was a lot different. What episode was that we talked about? Was that 89? We should put that on the show notes too, I guess.
Oh, yeah, I'll find it. Yeah, because we have one episode from really early where we talked about the Midnight Meat Train in the context of the Books of Blood and the movie, and then we revisited it when the Dark Regions book came out.
So I guess we all saw this one coming.
Yeah.
All the clunky foreshadowing.
Why does he have to have a haircut like Kaufman? I mean, like Mahogany's?
I know. I was thinking the same thing.
It looks weird.
Yeah.
It looks really strange on him.
Also, obviously, I don't know where Mahogany came from, but wouldn't it be a possibility that Bradley Cooper would come across people that knew him? Because he's in that area of the city where he lived.
Yeah.
So someone who he knew would be bound to find him and say, hey, that's Bradley Cooper. He disappeared like
Yeah.
a couple of weeks. He is with a different haircut.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was Ryuhei Kitamura's Midnight Meat Train adaptation.
Yeah.
Pretty decent, although I would say that the add-ons they put on the story felt like a little bit of padding, and sometimes they didn't make a whole lot of sense. But it's definitely one of, I think, Clive Barker's most stylistically successful adaptations, even though it didn't really make a big box office profit.
Yeah, well, and that's not their fault, though.
What was the whole story about why they didn't want to release it big?
Well, we just saw that name, Joe Daly. He was a producer.
Yeah.
So Joe Daly was a longtime friend of Jeff Bueller's, and he brought the two. This is what it says on Wikipedia. He brought the two writers together, Clive Barker and Bueller, and helped develop the script, along with producers Anthony DiBlasi and George Saraleghi, for their and Clive Barker's production company, Midnight Meat Show, which was Midnight Picture Show. I'm sorry, which was responsible for the Book of Blood. Unfortunately, I think that one of the producers left. And so it says here, ultimately, the film's release on August 1st was limited to secondary market. or of which only 100 screens showed it. Barker was angry with Lionsgate's treatment, believing that the studio's president, Joe Drake, was essentially shortchanging other people's films in order to focus more attention on films like The Strangers, where you've received your producing credit. It was kind of like politics inside the production company.
Wasn't Joe Daly left, right? Or didn't he left Lionsgate right in the middle of this?
I think.
And so they didn't have any kind of have any kind of support.
And so the other producer who became the president wanted to push movies that he was involved with, so he didn't care so much about films the other producer was involved with.
Yeah.
It's sad,
That happens
really
to
sad.
some movies. That's what happened to Jason X. That's why Jason X sat on the shelf for like 2 years. I don't know if y'all, that 10th sequel in the Friday 13th, it was done for like two years. And then it finally got released and didn't do very good. But, you get new regime in there and they just stop. They don't care about other movies.
Right, and it's like, well, we did a theatrical release like we promised, but it's like super, just 100 screens. So they met their technical obligation, which is weird because you think that if you're going to do that and lose a bunch of money, why not just do it wide so you can make the money back? At least it would make sense financially.
And this movie would have made the money back because the world premiere of Midnight Meat Train was at the Fantasia Film Festival in Montreal on July 2008. And the next opportunity to watch this movie was a midnight screening on July 25th at the Gaslamp Stadium in San Diego as part of Comic-Con. And this screening sold out within 24 hours of tickets being made available. So I think that people really were getting behind this movie.
I think it could have been a big hit and maybe gotten some more Barker projects off the ground,
And can you guys imagine what this movie would have been like if it had been Anthony DiBlasi, directing it instead of Kitamura?
Oh, he was going to do it?
Well, I mean, he had done
Dread.
Yeah, and he'd been heavily involved in Clive Barker adaptations in the mid 2000s.
Yeah, at one point Lionsgate wanted. At one point, Lionsgate wanted to take the word meat out of the title, and Clive Barker was kind of freaking out over it. He says, I went ape shit.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wanted everybody to know that it was a horror movie.
What would they call it? The Midnight Train?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Like that song.
I agree. Vinnie Jones did mention something about working with Rampage Jackson. He said, that was a tough scene. In fact, he has to be one of my toughest opponents of all time, on and off the screen. He is one of the strongest men I've ever encountered. He really grabbed hold of me during our fight scene. I can tell you that this will be a very real-looking battle, and he's a great fella. He said this to Fangoria in January of 2008. So, yeah, it's a shame that it didn't make good marketing with Lionsgate, didn't get a good distribution deal. And like I said, Clive Barker ended up being on camera as saying, like, send them dead things in the mail because they killed a switch on this. And it's a shame. It was a good movie. I just.
He knew that there was something wrong when they asked him, when he said, hey, how come you don't have any trailers for this yet? And they're like, oh, there's not enough good material to make a trailer out of.
That's not. Like, I remember seeing a trailer for this in front of a Saw movie. They did cut a trailer for it, at least when the previous people were.
Well, I think at that time that conversation happened, they hadn't. But I think he might have forced the issue and made them. It
definitely was. It definitely was a movie that was pretty hardcore. Definitely had a lot of violence and gore, which was necessary for the story. I mean, the story is about a guy who butchers people inside a train. Yeah. So this movie had balls. It's just too bad that they didn't market it properly. But hey, I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. Maybe 7.5.
I'd go higher. I think my retro review, I gave it a 8.5.
I'm with you, Rob. I mean, I have a hard time watching it, but I think it's probably this and Candyman are the best adaptations that aren't by Clive Barker himself.
Sure. My only concern is the only thing I take points out of, on my opinion, is that I just don't like the padded stuff, the stuff they added to the story. I think could have been better. Some scenes could have been cut. Some scenes could have been written a little differently. And I just, I thought what they added with the photographer angle was a little, I don't know, it didn't work that well for me. That's why I took a couple of points out of it. But it was enjoyable.
I really didn't enjoy the characters of Jurgis and his girlfriend all that much. I thought the actors were fine, but I really didn't think they were really needed in a way.
Definitely for me, the standout is Vinnie Jones. Vinnie Jones, for me, he's a great villain. He's probably one of the best slasher movie villains I've seen, even including things like Halloween. He's kind of like the Shape in a way, the way that he doesn't speak and he's calm and contained, but he's like a butcher. So
and going by Candyman, I mean, he's another. This is another adaptation character that's not anything like he is in the short story, but you don't mind because he's so awesome. Like Candyman was supposed to be a waxy, yellowish, character in the short story, but we like him because he works so well.
So everybody, be thankful that you're watching this movie with a commentary track.
Yeah, right. We're recording this on the day after.
This is our last one too, so it's
Yeah.
It's the time to get stuffed with meat.
Fun.
There's a couple more that we can do next year, and gird ourselves for Hellraiser Judgment. We might do that too. Oh, God.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
By the way, it's coming out in March, right?
Yeah. I'm surprised that it's so late. Apparently that's still okay. It still meets the deadline or whatever that they have before they lose the rights.
Yeah.
Well, they've made the movie, so
yeah.
Yeah,
so I guess when they screen it isn't as important as.
Yeah, as long as they make a movie.
Yeah, I wonder if they're just going to have one screening like they did with Revelations. Probably.
I'm not sure. A lot of people, I think they're trying to treat this better than that. I mean, I really do think they're trying to treat the.
I think Revelations. I don't remember hearing as much about it or them even bothering to try to advertise it. I don't remember.
I guess we'll find out.
Like they have been with this one.
Yeah.
I guess we will find out if they cut a trailer for it and what sort of movie it's going to be. But that's going to come in next spring, so we'll keep you guys posted about that.
Yeah. All right.
So
we made it.
It's a Fundraiser III.
Hell on Earth.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us for this, and we'll catch you again next time.
All right. See ya.
Thanks. See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You can find the show notes for this page and lots of Clive Barker news and features at www.clivebarkercast.com. Leave comments there or get them directly into the podcast by clicking the Send Voicemail tab on the right. Please follow us on Twitter at BarkerCast or at Occupy Midian. Like us on Facebook and join the Occupy Midian Facebook group. You can listen on the site or subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, TuneIn, Pocket Cast, Google Play, and Double Twist. Subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Please take a couple of minutes to leave us a review on iTunes. It means the world to us and helps us spread the word about Clive Barker. The Clive Barker Podcast, or BarkerCast, is an independent editorial fan site and podcast that is not affiliated with or under contract by Clive Barker or Seraphim Films. This is a labor of love by the fans for the fans.
Thanks for listening.